and welcome to the HIPAA Insider Show. My name is Adam Zenedine, and I'm joined as always by Gil. Hey, Gil, how's it going?
Hey, I'm doing great today. Looking forward to today's podcast.
Yeah, I'm really excited to dive into our topic for today, which is analyzing WordPress sites that are slow and potential solutions when it comes to optimizing site speed. If you're listening to the podcast, you might want to switch over to YouTube because we'll be doing a screen share as part of this. So it'd be helpful to watch it on YouTube or listen along, and we'll try and describe what we're doing as we go. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel and the podcast on YouTube. We're on our road to 500 subscribers. So if you haven't already, click the subscribe button and be sure to like the video. All right, so let's get started here, Gil. Could you give us a little bit of an overview of maybe frame this a little bit in terms of who's going to be looking into the site speed and what's the scenario here?
Yeah, great. I see you pulled up our expert solutions, the site we're going to go over. But yeah, the context is when you have a website that is important in terms of marketing efforts. I know not every website that you have for the healthcare community, you care about marketing. For example, a lot of customers of ours have a portal site where somebody logs in and then they do something back. Those are not marketing sites because Google can't log in to index the site. So we're talking about primarily public-facing sites that you want the public to find, your potential customers to find it. You want to have that site work, streamline, perform well, load quickly. You want it to be responsive on a mobile device. A lot of people do research on mobile now. So the consensus is that most of the research is done by the information gatherers. A lot of times they use a cell phone, but the final decision maker and buyer is probably going to be an owner that's on a computer, on a laptop. So he'll see the full thing and he'll hit the buy button. And what we're trying to do here is just demonstrate, well, what do you do with the site? How do you know if it's performing well? And then if it's not, how do you fix it? How do you improve it?
Okay, so what is a Lighthouse scan? And I've got some steps here that you've graciously provided me with, and I can pull it up. But while I do that, what's a Lighthouse scan?
Yeah, so one of the great tools that we find very useful that's freely available to our audience, to anyone that has Chrome. So this is part of the Chrome browser. There's a section called Google Chrome. And in Google Chrome, in the menu, there's something called Developer Options. And within that, you'll find a Lighthouse report. It's very simple to run. You don't need to be a tech guy. You could be a business owner that's not a technologist, and you could just hit the Lighthouse report. And that's something that Adam's going to be demoing here in just a moment. But once you run this report, it takes a little while to run it. It's gathering a lot of information. It's scoring the performance of the site, gives it a score. And you want the score to fall in the upper range. Obviously, if it falls too low, then that could be a problem. Now, when we say a problem, what do we mean by that? So let's say the site loads in a few seconds, you're happy with it. Oh, it seems fine to me. I'm okay. Well, you may be more patient than most. You may be more patient than Google. And Google's crawler that indexes the pages has a certain level of performance they're looking for. If it falls below that level, it could negatively impact your rankings. By that, I mean, instead of appearing at a certain position, you might fall several positions below that, all because the performance was poor. Again, and this is in terms of what Google and the indexing algorithm thinks, not so much my opinion or your opinion. So it's important to realize that. And then also, you want to have fast performance loading on the mobile device because that's what people are searching for. Things is on the mobile. So you want it to respond quickly there because people are always in a rush. If the page loads slowly, they're going to move on to something else.
Okay, so let's dive into it. So I've got the instructions to press F12 if I'm on Windows or Linux. So press F12, and then up here, there's a bunch of elements that show up. And depending on how your Chrome's set up, you might have to click on the arrow at the top and click Lighthouse. And then it gives me a couple of options here from what I can see. The mode is navigation by default, time span or snapshot. The device, mobile or desktop. So this is, I'm assuming, Gil, it's gonna run the scan based on either the mobile site or the desktop version of the site. Is that right?
That's right.
And then there's categories. So what categories for it to assess performance, accessibility, best practices, and SEO. And it's free, so I assume we'll run all of these and start with the desktop site, shall we?
Sure.
Okay. I'm going to click analyze page load. Okay, looks like the scanner's completed, and we've got a couple of different metrics here. So we got a low score. So the scores are 0 to 100, right? And the performance is a low score of 29. It's shown here in red. Accessibility is fairly high, 82. Best practices, 74. SEO, 85. Gil, what's your first impression on these scores here?
So the scores, the good thing is you have color coding here. So when you see red, that's bad. Yellow is in between, and green would be what you're aiming for. So this performance of this site is on the low end. I would expect this to affect the search engine rankings for this particular site because it's in the red. So you don't want to be in the red. And I cannot tell you exactly what number to achieve. Say, well, Gil, I want to know exactly what number to achieve to avoid the rankings being lower. I don't know that there is a magic number. I think it's a spectrum. You're higher the score, the better it is for your rankings. And so this site right here needs a improvement, definitely for performance. There's no doubt about that.
Okay, and it allows you to print either a summary or an expanded view of the report. So I'm going to do that, and then we can pull that up in a PDF form. And Gil, typically for the site owner, are they going to be addressing these issues, or are they going to send it to the developer? What's the action to be taken here?
The action to be taken, it'll be the technical designer, usually the person that. Now, to be clear, not every web designer has the experience of optimization. So a good designer would be designing the site so it can perform well. But frankly, most designers are really they're looking for the design, the look and feel, the interaction, so on. Performance is at the top of their view, and so you have to consider that. But I would say good designers I've worked with, they all know how to optimize, especially with the Lighthouse report. It tells you exactly what the problem is. You're not guessing like, I'm not sure what to do here. It tells you this is the problem. This image is too big. There's too much JavaScript here, etc. It'll mention it. So the designer who doesn't have experience with performance optimization should still be able to optimize it. Now, someone who has a lot of experience optimizing is going to get more juice out of this report. They're going to be able to get a higher score than someone who's not familiar with optimization.
Okay, so here is the downloaded report. So the headline is 29 performance, and then it gives a couple of metrics in red. Here, first contentful paint, largest contentful paint, blocking time, etc. Talk us through it.
Should be looking at this. One thing you can do that's interesting before we go crazy or go too deep into this thing is that if you just take this report and make it into a PDF and then upload it to ChatGPT or Claude or Grok 3, it can walk you through this. So even if you're a business owner, it's non-technical, you can pump this whole report into AI and say, hey, I'm not a technical person. I'm a business manager, business owner. Walk me through this report. Give me the top 3 things that should be changed from this report. And then you make sure your designer says, look, of all these things, here's the top 3 that are going to have the most impact on my performance. I want these done by Friday at 2:00. And now they have an exact task and objective. So what it's going through here is telling you how much impact these changes will have. It describes here, like this one, it says if you reduce your JavaScript execution time, you're going to save 2.9 seconds on the load time. And it breaks down by giving you the name of the actual JavaScript, all the components, and lots and lots of detail, again, for the developer to look at it and say, okay, I have to refactor my code. Now, before you get too concerned, we're not asking your programmer or developer to redesign your site or recode things, okay? There are some things like JavaScript, if it's too heavy, they may have to do some refactoring, but most of the work here is not going to be involve redesigning your site or reprogramming it. Okay, that's not what we're talking about. Talking about performance improvements. So let me see. The ones in red are the most severe, so you want to address those first, and the ones in yellow are less severe. By severe, we mean the severe ones are the ones that impact your performance the most in a negative way. Another example here, it says avoid large layout shifts. 6 shifts found, and it has a little thumbnail, and it shows you a picture. And if you scroll down a little bit, it says a late network request, adjusted page layout. Okay, so it's telling you what the problem is. It tells you the exact line of code. So these things, again, the developer would know about this, and if they don't, they can just Google it or use AI to tell them, hey, what does this mean? How do I fix this?
So it sounds like it gives them a great roadmap to be able to solve the problem in every area.
What it does, it doesn't necessarily tell you how to fix it, but it lays out the problem in great detail. Like if you go to the mechanic and you say, hey, my car doesn't work, fix it. The mechanic's like, well, what's the problem? Well, I don't know. Well, I can't tell me the problem is I can't fix your car. So same thing with this. But this report has excruciating details. Says the problem is on this page, this line of code, and exactly where it is. So you don't have to doubt where the problem is. You just have to figure out how to fix it. And again, the idea, you don't have to fix every single one of these. Go through, get the low-hanging fruit, the ones that have the most impact, fix all those first. Get your performance into the yellow range. So from a 29, get it into the yellow score. And that's huge, right? You've had huge improvement. And then you can keep working, chipping away at the other ones later. Your objective, you don't need to get a score of 100. Okay, that's not necessarily your goal. I mean, if you have the time and the developer has the skill set and the time to get every single point out of it, well, then go for it. But at least try to get into the low green band if you don't have the time to get every single point out of it. So your goal is to get into the green zone.
Yeah, absolutely. And I also noticed that in the developer settings, we go back to here. There's a turn on AI assistance option.
Oh, that's great. I haven't seen that
from Google, which promises to also help with what you were mentioning earlier about maybe instead of having to manually upload things into an LLM, ChatGPT, etc. That Google has developed services here that'll help as well. So that might be an option. And then Gil, we also offer these services to our hosting customers. Is that correct?
Yeah, recently we started offering optimization services. HIPAA Vault has been around for a long time. We got a lot of customers, and they get frustrated when their site's loading slowly, and they're like, can you help us? And so we decided, what, we've got some bandwidth and some web design internal resources. So we've been doing some of that work, and it's very helpful to them. They like it because they don't have to go hunt down some other resource. They could just pay us to do it because they're already our customer. And we've been very successful with that. We always get them in the green. Sometimes we hit 100, but we always can get them in the green. And it's a notable improvement, right? If you go to the site, check it out, they run the 2 Lighthouse reports that show the original and the new one, you'll see the score is vastly different.
Oh, it's fantastic. Anything else to add before we wrap up?
Yeah, I do want to say something else. What question you asked me at the beginning was a really good one. So the Lighthouse report is for a specific page. So you want to run it on the home page, www.yourwebsite.com. And then you want to optimize based on that. And the reason why is because, especially WordPress sites, most of the elements on the template, on the theme, they're the same theme, same JavaScript, same everything across the entire site. So you don't have to worry about, I better run the Lighthouse report on every single page. Just run it on the home page, do all the work there. When score's in the green and you're good to go, Then you should run the Lighthouse report on a couple of interior pages just to verify, to say, okay, this one's also green. Now you might come across an interior page that has a big fat image on it that doesn't exist on the home page, and it loads very slowly. You say, oh, here's a case where optimizing just the home page didn't help. I have to go in and fix that image. Well, then fine, you found that. Probably the best thing to do, Adam, is just to make sure you optimize those pages that are ranking highly in Google.
Yeah, because mostly it's the homepage that you want people to find on Google.
Right.
So that's the most, yeah.
Right. And if you're not sure, well, what pages are ranking high in Google, you could go to your favorite keyword tool like SEMrush or Ahref, Search Atlas, any one of those tools for free. You can go in there, put in your site. It'll tell you all the top ranking pages that your site has and just focus on those.
All right, fantastic. So hope that helped provide you some insights on how to troubleshoot optimizing your WordPress site and making it faster. If you have tried it out before and have experience with it, let us know in the comments if you like the Lighthouse scanning tool. If you have any other tools that you like as well. And if you have any questions, as always, reach out to us at hipaavault.com and we'd be happy to answer them. That's it for this episode. Thank you for joining us as always. And Gil, as always, thanks for your time.
Thank you.